as is Markel Jones. And wind, if you haven't picked up on it yet, could be a factor today. Blowing the ball off the tee already a couple of times. The temperature is only 49 degrees. It's on the cloudy and even a bit dark here this afternoon in East Lansing, but as they like to say, it's a beautiful day for Spartan football as they get set to take on Purdue. Cronin boots it away in the direction of Anthrop, and he'll field it inside the 5 and get out across the 20 where this young offense will start out. I'm Beth Mowens along with 12-year NFL veteran Anthony Becht up in the booth, and Anthony Shalik Calhoun leads this defense, the All-America candidate, right up front for Michigan State.
This defense has been stingy. It starts with the defensive line. The one thing I want to watch today is Calhoun's got a great move. He swats the hands down to the tackles and dips and rips underneath. He's a big-time pass rusher. He will be a menace today if he's not blocked.
Up against David Blau, the redshirt freshman out of Carrollton, Texas. His second career start since taking over for Austin Appleby. And his first pass, an errant one. He was very accurate in his debut. He had a couple of touchdown passes, a rushing touchdown as well. That 28 for 39, good for 75% accuracy.
And coaches talked about the moment wasn't big with him last week. Well, now he's in a different position against Michigan State in this defense he's going against today.
Markel Jones is in at tailback. He'll get the call. Bouncing away from a couple of defenders and gets out across the 35, and a first down for the Boilermakers. Darian Harris had the tackle. It's a couple of youngsters, Knox and Jones, that'll be running the ball behind Blau, who was an Elite 11 guy, a 3-star recruit, redshirted last year, and when Appleby struggled with the interceptions, Blau has stepped in. Blau to the edge on the pass, and Harris is right there defensively to bring down D'Angelo Yancey, and a loss of a few on the play.
Last week, first downs, Michigan State defense 18 for 18 in their goals of holding a team of 3 yards and less. Right there, a minus play. Look for that on all these first down plays to try for this defense to win against Purdue up front.
2nd and 12. Calhoun will line up, hand in the dirt on the right edge of the front line. Blau rolling out that way under duress, and he's wrapped up by Calhoun at the 36, and it will be 3rd and long for the youngster, David Blau.
Well, he's going to have to deal with pressure today. If you watched him on film, you talked about his accuracy, but the one thing that you saw was he pulled it down a little quick and didn't let the plays really open up and see the field clearly, pulled it down and ran. They're going to try to force him on that 3rd down and long situations we have right here.
38% on the season for Purdue, 80th ranked in the country in that category. 4-man rush, and the pass is away, and it's broken up. Darian Hicks, who gets the start at cornerback today, breaking up the pass intended for Yancey. Hicks at corner. Cox has moved over to start at safety in the secondary for Michigan State today.
Well, the one thing you want to limit with your quarterback is those late hits. You got big defensive linemen playing up front. Cooper, 245 pounds. They have 300-pounders across the board taking hits. So this offensive line will be challenged today against this front.
He drove Blau right into the ground, and Shelton is back to receive here on the punt for Michigan State from Joe Shopper, who averages 44 yards on the season, end over end. This is a short one. Spartans have to be careful they don't get hit by it. Purdue says it may have hit one of the guys in green, but the officials say no, it will be Purdue. It will be Michigan State ball after a 37-yard punt.
All right, Purdue, 1st down and 10, Michigan State.
Arjun Colhoun was the guy that was closest to it as Connor Cook makes his way out onto the field for Michigan State, and what could be a record-setting day for him. He is tied with Kirk Cousins as a starting quarterback, 27 wins, looking for a 28th today in his 31st consecutive start, as he has quarterbacked the Spartans to one of their best runs in school history. They've won 30 of their last 33 ball games, most of those with Cook in control. As Trevin Pendleton gets the carry, Juwan Bentley with the stop.
They're preaching balance today on offense. They got to run the ball more effectively. The power run game, getting downhill. That's what they're preaching to get Connor Cook and this pass offense clicking on all cylinders.
They go with a diamond to the right, and then London, the tailback, returns to the backfield. Cook on the rollout. The quick strike to Shelton with the catch out at the 36-yard line for a short gain. Give them 4. It'll be 3rd and 6.
Connor Cook, the one thing when you watch him on film is the accuracy, and he says really, Burbridge is the only receiver he feels truly comfortable with as being on the same page. So working it to Shelton, working it to Kings, those will be the receivers he'll try to get a better continuity with.
Burbridge is the lone receiver to the right, down to the near side. Purdue showing an edge rush from the right. Cook hit as he releases, and he completes the toss out to the 45-yard line, and a first down, a 9-yard gain to Burbridge. Took a good hit from DeJuan Hunt on the release.
Got to disrupt your quarterback. You can't let him stand in the pocket and carve you up. Multiple blitzes, being able to stop the run and take your chances. Cornerback blitz off the edge, and Cook stands in the pocket, takes a front hit, a back hit. Miles hits him on the outside. Hunt from the cornerback position. Good job standing and delivering.
Cook on first down out of the gun. The give is to Madre London. They've got the 2 youngsters in the backfield, in London and Scott. They lost almost all of their run game from a year ago, led by Jeremy Langford with back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. So they're breaking in some new guys this year.
And Coach D'Antonio said, listen, it's the hot hand. Whatever one of these backs is hot, moving the ball, staying with the hole, the power run game, you got to have vision and trust of your linemen. He'll want that more today out of one of these 3 backs.
They have each had a 2-touchdown performance in their first 4 games of the season. London again with the call. Lost his footing as he got out across midfield down to the 49-yard line of Purdue, and he'll set up a 3rd and short. London, the redshirt freshman out of Fort Lauderdale, had a couple of touchdowns in his first 5 minutes in that opener against Western Michigan.
He's got great vision. He's a downhill runner. He's got good cutback ability, and he has patience. He's young, but these guys are growing in this backfield for Michigan State.
They need to get inside the 45 to move the chains. Cook looking left the whole time, and incomplete, intended for Burbridge. Frankie Williams with the breakup. The strength of this defensive unit may be their 2 corners. They're both solid.
You're going to get man-to-man coverage from both of them, and they're going to put pressure on the receivers and force them to make passes in the play game. Again, can you hang tight with the big play wide receivers and put ball placement? You got to get the ball outside, away from the defender. Again, the accuracy issues we talked about early in the season for Cook. He's been a tremendous player, but those are the things he's trying to work on.
And Williams, who just had the pass breakup, is back deep down at his own 10-yard line. Jake Hartbarger boots it away. Williams will let it bounce, and then will step away from it as it rolls inside the 5 and dies at the 4. A 45-yard punt, no return. We're scoreless early in the Big Ten opener. Purdue and Michigan State. The last 6 in a row, but they've been close. And for Purdue, the first road game against a top 2 ranked opponent since 1990, trying to pull off the major upset here today. And the give is to Markel Jones for the short game. Down to Paul Carcaterra.
Find that extra second in the pocket. That's what Purdue quarterback David Blau told me would be critical against this aggressive Michigan State front 7. Watching Aaron Rodgers on Monday Night Football was a great reminder for him on how the slightest moments of the quarterback's feet could buy him more time.
Thank you, Paul. The pass out to Markel Jones coming out of the backfield. The freshman with the grab.
You know, this is only his first Big Ten start ever, Beth, and he knows Shalik Calhoun and crew will send the house. But if he can handle the heat, he can capitalize on these one-on-one matchups on the outside.
And Coach Hazel, to add to that, Paul, he got some captain votes as not being the starting quarterback, so this team really likes what he does. He's comfortable, mature, and it's never too big for him to go out there and play this game.
Jones runs it up the middle, and he's got the first down out to the 16-yard line. Darian Harris with the tackle. Of course, they've had some success with a quarterback from Texas in the past, some guy named Drew Brees.
Yeah, he was solid.
Did all right.
Absolutely.
Well, you know, they pride themselves on being quarterback U, but it has really been over the last 6 or 7 years a carousel at that position, and they would love to be able to get some stability. They have made 3 quarterback changes in the 3 years that Darrell Hazel has been there, including the move to Blau last week. Jones with another nice run, and how about the block from the tight end Jurasevich right there? There's your starting quarterback since 2012, including a big-time recruit, Danny Etling, that was the starter for a while.
And it's been turnovers. It's been protecting the football. And you know what? Coach Hazel thinks he's got the talent, at least from his starters, to put up points and be successful. They got to shine today when you play a team like Michigan State.
Appleby is still listed at number 2 on the depth chart, and a fumble in the backfield, and it looks like the Spartans have it. Joel Heath able to dive on it, and the one thing they ask of Blau, ball security, and it pops out on the exchange.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. They try to get cute with some jet sweep option. They got Burgess coming across, and then they're going to try to give it to Knox here. He wants to pull it out, but when you stick it in that belly of the running back and they squeeze down, that's where you have complications. And you talk about reps. How many reps has he gotten working that? He's only been a starter for 1 game now, so those are issues. And talking about protecting the football, they might have threw some interceptions the last couple games, but there is a huge opportunity. You see the emotion right there. It can't be done. You can't set this offense up for Michigan State in the red zone like this.
11th giveaway of the season for the Purdue offense, and now a short field for Cook to work with on the rollout, and it's dropped. L.J. Scott had some time, and he took his eyes off it.
They really like L.J. Scott. He's running a wheel route, play action, and it's actually a solid throw behind the running back to make sure it's not ahead of the DB. It was a bit of a wobbler. It is windy. We talked about, oh, that's a factor in this game, but that's a ball the true freshman has to take.
Scott will stay in the backfield behind the fullback, Pendleton. And the give is to the deep man in the eye. Bounces to the outside, gets a nice shove in front by Pendleton, and he's close to the first down inside the 20-yard line.
233 pounds, just a huge running back. You talk about the Fournettes and the guys out there, but I'll tell you what, you got to give some love to the fullbacks. Pendleton, guy does all the dirty work, gets it inside, gets the blocks. He really makes these guys go in the backfield, and he's done a tremendous job for this team.
3rd and 1. Scott stays in the game. He'll get the carry. He's got the first down. Stays on his feet and into the end zone. Touchdown, Spartans.
He's got the best average of any of the running backs on this team, and it's strength in the lower body. Can you get your legs up, break tackles, and don't try to go and grab his foot. He's a player that's going to try to get through the hole fast. And again, you better have a gang tackle of defenders over there to bring him down, because he is a horse.
Off of the fumble. The touchdown for Michigan State, 18 yards on the scamper from L.J. Scott. The extra point is good. We talked about the turnover issues, Anthony, a problem for Purdue, and it's back again early.
This is the difference between winning and losing football games and playing and beating teams like Michigan State. You got to protect the ball. And when this big running back's running the football, you better get your arms around his legs and bring him down. Great job. Struggling Louisville team. So Watson's a quarterback that I'm going to keep my eyes on. Can he lift and raise his play? The one thing he's done good, Beth, is in those big games and moments, he's stepped up.
Yep. Going to be terrific to see. The Irish have had to overcome all those injuries. You got a couple of Deshans at quarterback, Kaiser and Watson. We saw this with the opening kickoff, the wind an issue, and it is once again here. Kevin Cronin to boot it. He is their kickoff specialist. Anthrop and Williams are back deep for Purdue. Michigan State wants to solidify its special teams unit. They gave up a kick return for a touchdown against Western Michigan earlier in the season. And a punt return TD as well against Oregon, trying to shore up that spot. Let's check in now with Chris back in the studio. Our buddy Nassib. Well, thank you very much, Chris. Well, Penn State, their 4th game in a row, their 5-game homestand. They've won the previous 3. Here's Blau throwing the deep ball and overshoots his target, Danny Anthrop. Demetrius Cox on the coverage. Well, the Nittany Lions trying to make some noise, working their way. They already have a win in Big Ten play. They're out of the league against Army this afternoon.
Well, the strength is their defensive line, Nassib, Meadow, and these guys have really set the bar in their running back game now. They're very deep. They've done a nice job of recruiting in that position. Lynch, Barkley, tremendous players.
On 2nd and 10, Blau 2 for 5. No passing yardage thus far. They've had some more success on the ground. That's Markel Jones. We'll be talking about it throughout the day. Todd McShay came out with his first round, his mock first round, and Anthony Zettel was on that list, the defensive lineman from Penn State, as well as a couple of Spartans in Connor Cook and their left tackle, Jack Conklin, who was not playing this afternoon, but a guy that they are really high on. On 3rd and 4, and Blau, the completion for the first down to Gregory Phillips, getting the start at wideout in place of the injured Dominique Young, and an 8-yard pickup.
Blau's been all over the place. Tight window here, good coverage by Colhoun. Ball placement, that's something he did well last week against Bowling Green in his first start. And with this wind, it'll be tricky. We'll need to keep an eye on that on his throws down the field.
On 1st and 10. Off the ball fake and the sack, and a flag down as well. Malik McDowell, his 2nd sack of the season, gets to Blau. 6'6" sophomore out of Detroit. They've got terrific size up front.
Holding. Offense. Number 72. Penalties declined. 2nd down.
This is an experienced O-line, perhaps their strength. All 5 starters back, including King, Kugler, and Ruse, who've started together for several years.
They love McDowell, just a huge presence. They want it every single down. He's got the capabilities of taking over ball games. Only a sophomore, like you said. Keep an eye on him today.
On 2nd and 16. Good job weaving his way through the defenders. Markel Jones getting some of that yardage back. 3rd down coming up, down to Paul.
Watching David Blau, very calm. He's in control of his emotions. Only his first start ever in Big Ten play. He told me earlier in the week when we spoke, he said before the Bowling Green game, he had ants in his pants, but it was Robert Kugler, the center, said, "We won't let anyone touch you." The problem is Bowling Green, a decent defense. This Michigan State defense brings it.
And on 3rd and 4, the middle backer, Riley Bulla, bringing it again. Wrapping up Jones and throwing him back, and it'll bring up 4th down.
Offensive coordinator for Purdue, John Shoup, talked about the running backs staying in front of the hole, staying with your blocks. But right there, when you have Bulla, number 30, in the middle of the field, when he comes that backside, he hits those holes. Great instincts. And if you don't put a body on him, he's going to make the tackle. That's why he leads this team in tackles right now.
Boy, were they glad to have him back for the 2nd half of that Central Michigan game after he had to sit out with a targeting suspension. R.J. Shelton back deep. This one will go over his head, and Purdue a chance to down it inside the 5. 54 yards. A terrific boot from Joe Shopper, and a long way to go to get home for Connor Cook and company when we come back.
We'll be testing alert sirens today at 1 o'clock.
And you talk about tight ends, I was one of them, and I was anxious to see this guy. Josiah Price broke the all-time touchdown record for tight ends here at Michigan State with his 14th. He will be missed, ankle. Talked to him before the game. He wanted to try to come out, but just didn't feel right.
Jamal Lyles, the other tight end, is the motion man in the backfield. The short run up the middle. They do have some depth at the tight end spot. And looks like there may be a little excessive behavior after the play. A penalty flag flies. They like their depth behind Price, but it is noteworthy that not only Conklin, but Cody Keeler, the right tackle, is also out with an injury. So new guys
Personal foul.
on both tackle
Defense,
spots.
Number 7. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
That was Robert Gregory.
You backed up the team with a great punt. The whistle's been blown, and you want to give extracurricular activity. Gregory, I know Hazel's going to say something to him because that's not the way he wants to coach his team. They've made a lot of those mistakes, those penalties that hurt them the last couple games, and now you give them a free play. Hazel can't be happy about that one.
And Gregory will go out for a play at least. Brandon Roberts, his backup, is now in. And now you've also given Michigan State a little room to maneuver behind him. Cook on the rollout, drops it off to one of the other tight ends, Paul Lang, who makes the catch. To Chris Cotter now in the studio. Wow, Chris, they are trying to drive Texas into a 1-4 record. The Horned Frogs, after that spectacular win last week. TCU currently in the playoff picture, as is this Michigan State team. And deep down the middle, Cook able to hook up with Monty Medeiros, the junior out of Cincinnati. 34 yards on the pass.
They're going to run a post route. He's going to beat the outside, pressure the cornerback. There's nobody in the middle. The safety's not there. Got to be able to drop it down inside. Well protected. Great catch by the receiver on that play. Huge first down.
And if there's one knock on Connor Cook, it often goes back to his accuracy, Anthony, but they really like the way he throws the ball downfield. Sometimes it's on the shorter passes, the coaches were telling us.
You're right, and right there was an opportunity where he beat him, no one in the middle. If you put a perfect pass there, that's a touchdown.
He's a guy that's highly rated. Scott with a beautiful spin inside the 20. And a first down for Michigan State. 22 yards later, he should have lost yardage on the play.
But listen, we're preaching the big legs and he can't move. I'll tell you what, this guy's got some ability now, proving me wrong as a person watching him on film. Watch this move right there. Gets two defenders. Defensive end, Rapogel. Excellent run by the true freshman.
Antoine Miles should have thrown him for a loss. Scott now averaging 12 yards, nearly 13 per carry. He's over 50 in the first half. They will run the reverse to R.J. Shelton. Gets inside the 10 and down to the 8. Leroy Clark with the tackle. Paul?
L.J. Scott was a monster recruit out of Ohio. Ohio State offered him. Michigan State got him. When he showed up on campus, one of the strength coaches, Mike Vorkapik, said he looked like Le'Veon Bell. And when they saw him on the practice field for the first time, he played like him.
He's going to get another opportunity right here. Jumps down to about the 6. ESPN had him rated as the 7th best running back in the country out of Hubbard High School in Ohio, the same as former Spartan Curtis Drummond.
Yeah, right now he's getting the early totes. And remember what Coach said, D'Antonio, the hot hand will stay in the game. Right now he's getting the carries. We also talked to defensive coordinator for Purdue, Greg Hudson. He talked about missed tackles were a huge issue. We've seen that so far in this football game. A lot of missed tackles are creating big plays for Michigan State.
Really strong set here. A couple of tight ends for Michigan State. They'll run the counter. Scott inside the 5. Shut down around the 2. Price is a guy they would look to in this situation, their tight end, but he is out right now with an injury. And the word was only in case of emergency would we see him today.
He's got 7 catches, 4 of them for touchdowns just this season. And you're right, he's one of Connor Cook's favorite targets. He loves the end zone. I talked to him before the game. He said, I wouldn't imagine in my life I would have broken that tight end touchdown record. And he's done a really nice job for this football team.
That was a teammate of yours, Chris Baker, in the pros.
Yeah, saw him yesterday.
Lang, one of those tight ends, is the motion man. He'll block for Scott, who finds his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Michigan State. You go all the way back to inside the 10-yard line, Anthony. They may have moved the ball down the field anyways, but that was a bad penalty for Purdue. All the way down at the other end of the field that really got this drive going.
The pulling left guard, he says, listen, don't get in my way. He knocks over one of his own players. That's how big the hole was for Michigan State. Right now, you got to get firmer at the defensive line for Purdue. If not, this power run game is going to take this game over.
8 plays, 94 yards, just over 4 minutes, and a terrific start for the Spartans, the number 2 team in all the land. Scoring off of a turnover with a short field, and then the long sustained drive, 94 yards, going right through the Boilermakers, and it's 14-0. They've been breaking tackles all over the place today.
L.J. Scott, stiff arms. Purdue obviously has an issue with bringing backs, receivers down, and tremendous balance by the young man, and he's taken over this game early. He's been the back with the hot hand, and Coach Mark D'Antonio has said he's going to keep that back in, and right now he's getting the majority of carries for this Michigan State offense.
Had a couple of touchdown runs in the win against Oregon earlier this year, and now a couple of TDs here in the first quarter for Michigan State from 18 yards out and 2 yards out. They have been known here under Mark D'Antonio to have some terrific running backs. When you talk about Javon Ringer and the last couple of years, Jeremy Langford, of course, Bell and Edwin Baker together for a season.
And they've done it by committee, and look at those numbers, 8 yards a carry. I'll tell you what now, that's a huge step moving forward for these young tailbacks to get that confidence, trust their offensive linemen, and really run downhill.
Cronin again with the kickoff for State, and this will be a touchback. Chris Cotter's got an update for us. I think we're headed out to Big 12 country, Chris.
The wrong tight end, though. I need the West Virginia tight end to catch the footballs, Chris.
Former Mountaineer tight end, and actually familiar with Darrell Hazel, who was a former coach of yours. And God, so far you've been compared to LeBron James, and now he was talking about you being Gronk before there was a Gronk.
Well, I'll tell you, he's a smart coach. That's number one. He says the right things. He's one of my good friends. He's done a tremendous job, and the players love him. He demands accountability, and that's what he's trying to get out of his team.
Blau throwing over the top, and the catch is made by D'Angelo Yancey across midfield. 29 yards on the strike. Let's see if we can find that. Could you not wear your trademark bandana for the pictures?
That was
then?
illegal for the pictures there. And there's Coach Hayes. Those his younger days, you know, former wide receiver, All-American, really good coach, Ohio State, assistant head coach there, wide receivers coach. He's really built himself up going to Kent State and trying to turn his program at Purdue around.
He really likes the fight of this team. He's got some decent young talent. A tough task here today on the road against number 2 Michigan State with a 14-0 lead. The run game going quite well for L.J. Scott and the fellas, Anthony.
Yeah, I'll tell you, he's a back that we need to see.
We're on the go. Stream any game live and download the Watch ESPN app or go to watchespn.com. May have us on the telly, might be monitoring on your Watch ESPN app. Northwestern with the early lead over Minnesota right now, and Wisconsin up early on Iowa. And another fumble. And it appears Michigan State for the second time has recovered a Purdue giveaway. Riley Bull is the guy that came out of there with the football. Earlier in the ball game, Michigan State took a fumble and scored off it, and now another takeaway.
Yeah, Lawrence Thomas, defensive end right there, is going to knock it out, along with Malik McDowell, again, making some big plays. And Purdue right now, 2 turnovers by each of their running backs and their quarterbacks. And Darrell Hazel cannot be happy about that. They are not going to beat the number 2 team in the nation or try to keep it close against them if they fumble the football away.
Back to Madre London now in the backfield. Motion man is Shelton. And he will get the call on the reverse, the cutback, and Purdue able to sniff that one out. Well played by Juwan Bentley, the middle linebacker, with the tackle. Paul's got an update for us.
Anthony, you mentioned Michigan State offense, their running game, smooth as can be and pounding the rock, but Trevin Pendleton, one of the guys leading the way for guys like L.J. Scott and Mondre London, he came off after that L.J. Scott touchdown in a lot of pain. His right lower leg now has a massive tape job.
He's one of the toughest kids on the team, and you're going to have to yank him out of this football game to get him out. One of the tremendous blockers for this team out of the backfield.
Cook with protection, looking for his tight end Lang, who's got the catch shoved out of bounds at the 45. How about another Horned Frogs update, Chris?
No mercy with that offense.
Wow.
Doesn't matter who they're playing.
They are really taking it to them. TCU, the projection right now, they would be in the playoff against Ohio State, and Michigan would be in the playoff against Ole Miss. Cook hanging in there and completes the pass. And a first down. They get it across into Purdue territory on that strike to A.J. Troop, 14 yards on the pickup.
One of the things that pro scouts love about Cook is being able to look one way, come back, and know where your receivers are. There's some pressure off the edge. He throws the strike to the receiver. He's so patient. He gives it time. He reads the field, and rarely is he wrong with his decisions.
Michigan State rolling along here early. They'd love to be able to stay in that playoff picture. They've got a couple of road games coming up after this. One of those down to Ann Arbor to take on Michigan. And later on in the season at Ohio State. Well, Michigan State just has been terrific over the last 5 years, the best stretch in school history. Connor Cook, one of the big reasons why with this offense. They are in a 12-game stretch, State is, where they have scored over 30 points per game, and it started with their Purdue win a year ago.
You're right, and there's no question, and they're looking for their players to step up and take those opportunities. And you look at them right now, offensive line, Finley being in there at left tackle. They put Beadle in at left guard. They got Machado, number 55, at tackle. They're rotating their offensive linemen in this game.
London lines up as a wide receiver to the top of the screen. Cook throwing for Lyles, and another completion to his big tight end. Gregory with the coverage. And 13 yards on the pickup. Let's take a closer look at Michigan State. Number 2 in the country, their highest ranking since that 1966 championship season. They've won 30 of their last 33 games. And how about that stretch? 4 11-win seasons for the Spartans in the last 5 years. And that includes 4 consecutive bowl wins against some awfully good teams. Georgia, TCU, Stanford, and Baylor. And that huge comeback in the Cotton Bowl a year ago against Baylor. They were down 20 in the fourth quarter. Came back to win. Shelton with blockers in front of him. And a lot of green. R.J. Shelton inside the pylon. 23 yards and a touchdown, Michigan State.
So many ways to beat you with this offense. They do a great job of just utilizing all their players, and where you would normally see their linemen play, but here they're going to do the jet sweep. And watch these 2 players be the lead blockers. Madre London and their fullback, we've talked about him, Pendleton, and there's nobody home on the outside. And you see the great effort by Shelton. He's that movable piece from left to right, having a big game today.
Cook with the toss on the jet sweep for 23 yards. And Michigan State scoring twice today off of turnovers. Michigan State on top of Purdue, and Purdue really hurting itself with a couple of turnovers, leading to 14 points for the Spartans. Also had a bad personal foul penalty called on them. Trying to get things going again, now find themselves deep in a hole. Connor Cook on that scoring drive for State was 4 of 4 for 62 yards. The squib kickoff, Danny Anthrop. Shoved out of bounds around the 35-yard line. The giveaway's costly.
Got a quarterback in his second start with a quarterback exchange issue with his running backs. Has a fumble here. Of course, overplaying, not being smart. Taken out of the game immediately by Coach Hazel because of that poor penalty. And again, laying it on the ground, this time Markel Jones, a true freshman running back. These kids are going to have to grow up quickly and understand that against a team like Michigan State, you cannot have it.
Heath and Bulla with the fumble recoveries, and then Michigan State turning them into the 14 points. L.J. Scott with a couple of touchdown runs. Cook to Shelton on a touchdown pass, and this throw from Blau incomplete, looking for Cole Herdman. It was Riley Bulla on the coverage. Riley, the latest Bulla family member to suit up for the Spartans. Brother Max was here a year ago. Younger brother Byron is one of the backup middle linebackers behind Riley. Cut back by Knox, gets the shoulder down out to the 39-yard line and a 5-yard gain. And it'll bring up third down.
You know, offensively for Purdue, down 21 points, you really got to stick to your game plan and not get off what you've intended to do coming into this game, whether that be running, passing, short passing game. I think the one thing that I've seen that they've done good when they're not fumbling the football is keeping the running back on the front side, which they've said too many cutbacks last week. Got to get this scenario here on the third down converted.
On third down, the throw incomplete. Out at the 45-yard line, Colhoun with the coverage. There is a penalty flag as well in the secondary. Pass intended for Gregory Phillips.
Yeah, tight coverage there by Colhoun, but he grabs the receiver. It's going to probably be pass interference.
Pass interference. Defense, number 36. Ball placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
First penalty on the Spartans today.
It's been tight coverage down on the bottom all day, and Colhoun is going to be in that one-on-one man coverage, and right there grabbing onto the receiver, kind of hugging him prior to the pass coming. The referee right there to make that play.
Blau leaves the pocket and is caught by John Reschke. Down along the near sideline, lost a couple on the play.
You know, another loss for a play, you're right, on first down, and they talk about that. Their goal is less than 3 yards, and we've seen several tackle for losses on first down, this Michigan State defense.
We'll set up a 2nd and 12. Jarrett Burgess is now into the ball game at wide receiver. He's the man in motion. Blau with Bulla giving chase, and he had his man wide open, Burgess, and he overthrew him.
Wide open. Again, you got to make the plays when they present themselves. It's his second start, folks. Last week, he had a tremendous completion percentage at 75%, but he's going to roll out of the pocket. The protection is there. They bring Burgess all the way around on the jet sweep up the sidelines. And really, to me, that's one of those passes you just put it on him. You saw the defense roll over late. Again, he floats it in the air, and we talked about the wind being a problem.
2 of 4 rather on third downs, but here it's 3rd and 12. Blau with some time, and the throw is incomplete. Into traffic, looking for Anthrop, and it'll bring up 4th down.
Got to be smart as a quarterback when you're given the time. You got to trust your eyes and don't rush yourself. And when there's 3-4 defenders in the area, that's a dangerous pass to try to put into the receiver's area.
Michigan State defense stiffens on that third down, so Joe Shopper is back on to punt. R.J. Shelton back around the Michigan State 17-yard line. Shelton giving chase and makes the fair catch around the 14. 42 yards on that punt. Michigan State with the lead and the football when we come back.
Tissue.
Starting to rain.
Thank you.
Starting to rain.
Burgers.
Well, it's their 100th homecoming celebration here at Michigan State. Could be an historic one as fifth-year senior Connor Cook can become the all-time winningest starting quarterback in Michigan State history. L.J. Scott with the carry. Gang tackled after a 7-yard pickup. Connor is 27-3 as a starter, 16-1 in his career against the Big Ten.
Yeah, and you talked to him when he first came here, and Kirk Cousins was leading the ship, and he saw him play and his work ethic and how he was a precision passer and everything he did. He almost questioned his play as a player, and he's really developed himself. He remembers the time he stepped into coach's office and said, I want to play. I want to come in a few years ago in his redshirt freshman year to get into that Buffalo Wild Wings game, made the most of it, and I'll tell you what, he's off to a remarkable career here at Michigan State.
Scott with the first down carry. And he gets it out around the 30-yard line, 9 yards on the gain, and there's a flag down. Back around the line of scrimmage.
Holding. Offense. Number 55. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
That's Michael Machado getting some time at right tackle.
Yeah, Michael Machado coming in. He's playing the right tackle. And right here, he's just going to go down on the down pocket on Rapogo, the defensive tackle. And again, Miguel Machado just puts his arm around his chest, grabs his shoulder pads. Easy vision for the ref.
You're working in some different guys right now on the right side. Alongside Machado was Brandon Clemens, who had been backing up Benny McGowan. And of course, you got the two Allen brothers in the middle, Brian and Jack, alongside the new guy at left tackle, Dennis Finley.
False start. Offense. Number 55. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
And Manny's Miguel is having a few problems here.
And right now, he's going to bring his starting right tackle, Donovan Clark, back into the game, trying to get some of these young guys to get some reps. And I'll tell you what, if you hold and you jump off sides, you're getting off the field. So Coach Dan Antonio, there's an expectation level with these players, and right there he just showed what that expectation level is.
Fifth-year senior Donovan Clark goes back in there. 2nd and 18 after the penalties. Cook working against a 4-man rush. Scott, nice move to elude the first guy and gets out to the 10-yard line. Taking on Andy James Garcia, who's starting at outside backer for the injured Jimmy Herman.
Just add it to his list of phenomenal moves that he brings to the table. Watch this, folks. Going to catch the football, and Garcia's going to come up to him, and a little wiggle there. Watch your ankles. Get taped up after that play, because that's some quickness coming out of Mr. L.J. Scott.
They really like these youngsters, Scott and London. Even Gerald Holmes is just a sophomore out of Flint. Trying to step into the big cleats that Jeremy Langford was filling the last couple of years as the starting tailback. Cook hangs in the pocket and hits Medeiros out to about the 24. He's spun around there close to the first down marker. Let's check in quickly with the studio.
Oh, there you go.
Your
Good game
Mountaineers
going on
coming
there.
back.
Yeah, you know, I'm looking for a great game, and it looks like they got one.
Couple of ranked teams, both at 3-0 on the season, going toe-to-toe. We'll take the timeout along with Purdue here. They're down 21-0.
To Purdue.
Visit the Spartans store in the International Center. Sunlight shop in the Sunlight wears the Spartan Stadium for authentic Nike team apparel. Spartan fans wave your shield. MSU is committed to providing a safe and enjoyable game day experience. We encourage fans to exhibit the highest level of sportsmanship by supporting players and officials in a positive manner. And please be courteous to other fans, especially visitors to our campus. And if you see something, say something. Check MSU PD along with
Placed at the 23-yard line. 4th down.
So the call is reversed.
Cleanup hit there by number 4, Jawan Bentley. Garcia also there on the initial stop and hits him back. And there it is, 4th down. I'll tell you what, that was big for Purdue for that stop, but it looks like all the way back. They're going to put it in the offensive line's hands here and go for it.
From their own 24-yard line. Scott, the single setback, and the whistle blew after the snap
To roll it.
to roll the play.
Interesting. And I'll tell you, they're going to replay the down, or?
The snap came before the official, blew the whistle and waved his hand to start the clock and say, let's go.
And normally the official.
Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 7:35. The ready for play had not been blown. It's 4th down.
And normally the official will tell the quarterback, on my whistle will start the snap. Right there, Connor Cook tries to go quickly, and that's going to take away from their opportunity to go for it.
Well, the snap before the whistle, there was no penalty. They did not move the ball back. The ball stays where it was, still 4th and 1. But the decision is made now to send out the punting unit instead. Frankie Williams is back deep for Purdue. And now it's a false start on the special teams unit.
Offense, number 5, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Things getting a little sloppy here as now not only is the wind picking up, but the rain has started to fall as well. So Hartbarger will try and punt this from around the 5. And it's short. And it bounces into one of the Michigan State guys inside the 50-yard line. Tabor Pepper gets hit right around the 48. And that's where Purdue will have it, 1st and 10, just a 28-yard punt. And now for the latest dish, brought to you by Dish. Who has the best chances to win the Big Ten East? And interesting to note, no surprise the Buckeyes are on top, but according to ESPN's Football Power Index, Michigan slightly favored over Michigan State, and then Penn State a distant 4th.
Well, they're looking at the teams played, who they play moving forward, and where they kind of situate themselves. Obviously, Oregon falling out of the top 25 hurts that ranking and bring us down. But listen, Michigan State right now is the superior team.
On the carry inside the 40 is Markel Jones. Michigan State will be at Rutgers and then at Michigan on October 17th. Of course, one of Michigan's losses to Utah not looking as bad maybe as it did on opening day. Utah ripped through Oregon.
And here we go talking about good losses. Right? That was never an issue a few years ago.
Utes have moved into the top 10. Jones with the carry, tackled by Darian Harris. Looks like it's going to be just short. And now Riley Bulla is limping over to the Michigan State sideline, the starting middle linebacker. Shane Jones, who started in his place against Central Michigan, goes out there now on this third down play. A couple of tight ends go to the right side of the line for Purdue. Blau on the rollout, throwing deep for the end zone, incomplete. Yancey.
Yeah.
Out of his reach. Or is it a little bit alligator arms on this one?
I'll tell you what it is, Beth. When you're a wide receiver and you're running your route, if you watch Yancey, watch him here. He's not pumping his arms all the way through. He's just extending his arms. To me, if he's just pumping his arms through, it's the number one thing they teach receivers is run to the football. The ball was perfectly thrown right off the fingertips of Yancey. Got to make that catch.
And now Purdue will go for it on 4th and 1. The receiver screen, Anthrop, and he's got it to the 35, first down Boilermakers. The athletic trainers right now working on starting middle linebacker Riley Bulla.
Right now, Purdue's got to put a drive and finish a drive here against this Michigan State defense that's been stingy all day.
Trying to take advantage of the short field after the punt. And instead, it's Darian Harris. He was one of the heroes of their Purdue win last year, had the pick 6 late in the 4th quarter to seal that win. After Purdue had made a nice comeback to make things interesting.
He's one of the team captains as well. So they have a lot of confidence in his ability to play and lead.
Couple of costly turnovers, the difference so far in this one, and a 21-0 Michigan State lead. Purdue on the move. And another throw looking for Yancey, and that's broken up by Colhoun down to Paul.
Bulla with the injury, starting linebacker. It's the right knee they're working on right now. You look at their linebacking core coming into the season, look like a strength, but with Ed Davis out in pre-camp, he blew his left knee out, and now Riley Bulla working on the right knee.
Thank you, Paul. They also lost one of their starting corners. Leonte Copeland out with an injury, so now it's 3rd and 8. Blau, they'll move the pocket, throws to the opposite way, and his tight end, Cole Herdman, caught behind the line. Colhoun, Nicholson, and Fry, a couple of guys there. A loss of 3 on the play, and it's 4th down.
Well, the biggest thing that they talked about was their secondary staying in place and trusting their eyes. Right here, Colhoun just staying home, sees the tight end screen, and he pushes it back inside. And I think that's the number one thing. Let the cavalry come in and make the big plays without getting outside of the defense. Well played by Colhoun.
Another 4th down attempt here, 4th and 10. And a whistle on the snap. It appeared that Shalik Calhoun jumped the gun a bit. Fifth-year senior from New Jersey, and the Big Ten Player of the Week this week.
Offside. Defense, number 89. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Had 2.5 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, had a blocked field goal in the win over Central Michigan a week ago. And so now it'll be 4th and 5. And just to update you, lousy weather, and for Daryl Hazel, some problems with his kicker Paul Griggs, who has not been very accurate this year. So no hesitation to go for it on 4th down again. Blau with Bulla coming after him. Bulla giving chase. The pass is away, and it's intercepted at the 9-yard line by Demetrius Cox. 3rd takeaway of the first half for the Michigan State D.
Cardinal rule for the quarterback is when you get flushed out of the pocket, especially away from the side that you throw the football, you'll see that pressure push him to the outside. Defensive line does a nice job. The redshirt freshman can't throw back to the middle of the field. Demetrius Cox playing strong safety today. Makes a big interception for this Michigan State defense.
Well, a reminder, your Sunday mornings shape up like this with the NFL Insiders getting things going at 10 a.m. Eastern, followed by Sunday NFL Countdown at 11 a.m. Sundays on ESPN. Connor Cook, the handoff, and a big hole for Madre London out across the 20. And an update with Chris Cotter. Airference. Chris, I think I'm going to copyright fair-ence for that one for the Iowa Hawkeyes on the road. Looking to get to 4-0. How about the year C.J. Beathard's having? He's tops in pass efficiency in the Big Ten. Trying to get a huge road win to take control of the West in the Big Ten.
And I think you're right. I want to see the huge win. I want to see them take that step and continue to play. They go against the competition as they move into their schedule in the Big Ten.
Purdue will face Iowa towards the end of the season. Michigan State will not see the Hawkeyes this year in the regular season. London is the offset back alongside Connor Cook. We'll keep it on the ground here. A little misdirection. London breaking tackles, and he's got the first down.
Great job. Anytime you see your center about 10 yards down the field, lead blocking for you, I'll tell you what, Jack Allen, captain on this football team. He's literally one of the nastiest centers in college football, but you know what? He's super athletic. And look at him kind of survey the land, get through, find a block, and it's finished all the way to the whistle. I want guys leading for me like that down the football field. Reminds me of a Kevin Mawai of the Jets. Super athletic center, gets around, and just makes big plays for you. Running back's dream.
The All-American from last year, a 4-year starter for Michigan State. Another big hole for London to run through. Out to 45. A special place for Jack Allen from Mark D'Antonio. This is outside the locker room at Michigan State, and he says that Jack Allen is the one, if you go to the bottom there, but the one is a warrior, and he will bring the others back. From Heraclitus, that quote outside their locker room. Mark D'Antonio said Jack Allen is our one. He's the guy that leads the way for us in everything we do.
He loves him. It's his favorite player, it seems like. I mean, he just everything he epitomizes is what Michigan State football is all about.
And now the concern right now is for Dennis Finley, who was getting the start today at left tackle because Jack Conklin was out with an injury. And now Finley is the hurt player for Michigan State. As they load him up in the cart. We have a wide angle of what happened on the play. You may want to look away as they get Finley up on the cart. The injury to the left tackle.
He gets rolled up on them. Holding his hand up, the young man. I'll tell you that it's unfortunate injuries in this game. You never know when they're going to come. And again, he was stepping in. You see the emotion on his face, getting his opportunity today with Conklin out. And it's good to see his hand up and showing the fans some gratification on what he's done today.
Nice gesture, too, from Purdue. Darrell Hazel was out there patting him on the head. Mark D'Antonio certainly concerned. He was out there as well with Dennis. And there is the injured starter, Jack Conklin, who is out today. So it appears that Donovan Clark, the right tackle, will move over to the left side. Benny McGowan, the right guard, will move out to right tackle.
Well, they're in an unbalanced look right now on the left side, so let's see what they go to.
And it looks like the Allen brothers have switched spots as well. What's coming up at halftime? Let's check in with Chris. Thank you very much, Chris. Michigan State will call a timeout here with 25 seconds to go in the first half. 14 of their 21 points coming off of turnovers. L.J. Scott with a couple of touchdown runs. But some concern here late in the first half for Michigan State as the Spartans have suffered another injury along its offensive front line. Underway with another busy day of college football. Number 1 Ohio State against undefeated Indiana coming up this afternoon at 3:30. Check your local listings, ABC or ESPN2. And then get ready for the scoreboard operator to take over Texas Tech meeting Baylor is the other matchup coming up this afternoon. And on 4th and 1, Michigan State will boot it away. Coach Barger's punt and the fair catch down at the 15-yard line by Frankie Williams. 39 yards on the punt. 18 seconds to go in the first half. As a steady rain continues to fall here in East Lansing. Two fumbles recovered by this Michigan State defense, and then Demetrius Cox, a 4th down interception down in the red zone.
And a Yancey drops touchdown down the sidelines where they had an opportunity to put some points up on the board. So a lot of things are going to have to erase from their memory at halftime. Coach Hazel's got to have this team come back and try to do something in the second half of this game.
They have held Purdue to just 107 yards of total offense through the first half. Jones able to bounce to the outside. Cut down around the 18-yard line. We will be hearing from Paul Carcaterra with Coach Mark D'Antonio coming up during our Dave and Buster's halftime report. As Purdue will call a timeout here with 7 seconds to go.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's he doing here with this situation. I know that sometimes coaches look at that on the other side and say, where are you going here with 10 seconds left?
Another story here through the first half. Michigan State, 12 plays from its offense of at least 10 yards. Purdue has had just 3 of those. Connor Cook, 10 for 12 through the air, 128 yards and a touchdown to Shelton. Scott and London have combined to run for 110 yards in the first half. They'll add 3 seconds, back up to 10 seconds to go in the half. And the running play to Jones, and he is immediately wrapped up. Once again, Paul Carcaterra will have Mark D'Antonio coming up as a part of the Dave and Buster's halftime report. Big lead here for Michigan State. Chris Cotter, Butch Javis, and Robert Smith in the studio after the break. Scott and London getting over 100 yards together in this first half, and Scott able to bounce into the end zone a couple of times.
I think he's shown his versatility as a runner. We talked about him being a power runner, but he's made some nice moves in the open field, and Coach said he's going to leave the hot hand, and he's got a tremendous amount of the carries today for this team.
And Purdue with a couple of costly fumbles and an interception as well for this Michigan State defense, and that's been a huge story.
Yeah, you're right. And protecting the ball at the quarterback position, there's an exchange issue between him and the tailback. And then Markel Jones fumbled one. Great play by the defensive line of Michigan State to poke it out. And they've really been nice so far in this game, only giving up 114 total yards against Purdue's offense.
Spartans offense doubling up Purdue's in terms of total distance. They will receive here to start out the third quarter. And a chance for Shelton on the return from inside his own 5. And he will be cut down around the 12-yard line. Good pursuit and the tackle made by Alex Hilger. And so the Michigan State offense will head out there. The other developing news, they will be down their left tackle. Jack Conklin was already hurt to start the day, and then his backup who got the call, Dennis Finley, was hurt and had to be carted off the field in that first half of play. So some movement along the offensive line we'll get you caught up with here as Cook heads back out there.
Yeah, they're going to move Jack Allen to left tackle, their center. His brother, Brian Allen, moves in this, to the center position, and they'll shift those two players and then make it work.
David Beadle is now the starter at left guard. And then on the right side, McGowan and Clark.
And Mark D'Antonio talked about Jack Allen. He can play any position on the offensive line. I mean, you talk about a guy that can play center, read the defense, call the linebacker positions out, and then bounce to left tackle. I mean, that is some versatility. Talk about next level stuff. Scouts are going to like that one.
He and his brother both outstanding wrestlers. They were both state champs out of Illinois during their prep days. Now Cook with time, and it's dropped. And that was Monty Medeiros who couldn't haul it in. Cook was accurate in that first half. He went 10 for 12 through the first half.
Yeah, look at this by Allen locking out the defender. Good punch. Shows a nice kick. I'm telling you, anytime you can put something on tape, Beth, of your versatility, the more things you can bring to the table, that only enhances your ability at the next level and shows that you can do a lot of things. And look at the offensive line across the NFL at the next level, is that they're limited. You don't have a lot of guys, and he's a tough player that could really help a team.
ESPN Scouts Inc. has him listed as the number 5 center in this year's senior class. Cook almost picked off, floated over Shelton's head, and Danny Izichukwu could have had that one and taken it the distance. And now it's 4th and 8.
Good start by Purdue's defense again. I mean, just basically threw it. Look at that wobbly ball coming out the ball. I know the ball is wet. That's obviously an issue. But again, we've seen some wobbly footballs throughout this game, and poor throw over the middle. Nice play by the Purdue defense.
Purdue will send a couple of guys back deep with Trey Hart and Frankie Williams. Headed for Hart, who makes the fair catch. Then Purdue will have it at their own 42-yard line, a 43-yard punt. It was a rough first half, the Big Ten debut for the redshirt freshman David Blau. And now we'll try and bounce back to start out the third quarter. Paul, you had a chance to talk with Coach Hazel.
Indeed, the message to David Blau, his redshirt freshman quarterback: stop going for the big hit play, going downfield. We need to chip away against this Michigan State defense. He feels like his line on both sides is actually holding up, but defensively, when Michigan State gets to the second level, he's not happy with his defensive efforts in regards to their tackling.
Thank you, Paul. DJ Knox tried to get to the edge and could not get there. Reschke was at the bottom of the pile along with Malik McDowell. In that first half, David Blau was 7 of 16 with an interception and got sacked a couple of times.
Well, you know, he missed a wide open wheel route to number 80 Burgess, and the Yancey play down the field. To me, that was a home run strike. I thought it was a perfectly thrown ball that Yancey actually dropped. So outside of those two plays and the fumbles, this team could be in this game.
On second down, he looked left and then threw right, intended for Gregory Phillips. Monte Nicholson on the coverage.
Defensive line for Michigan State. You just look at them across the board. You talked about the size, and I think it's the next level guys. You know, McDowell, Heath, these young players that are coming up. Calhoun's, he's not going to be here forever. I know it seems like he's been here for 10 years, but they definitely have some talent brewing on the field right now.
Former Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. Calhoun coming from the right, and it's the other side that gets there first. Calhoun coming up from the secondary. Third sack of the day for Michigan State, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, they're going to show an all-out pressure look here on the defensive side. Watch number 36 right here. The linebackers will pull out, but Calhoun's going to come off the edge. He's unaccounted for. The running back has to step up and take the unblocked defender. And again, in these wet conditions, it's hard for a mobile quarterback to get out of the pocket. Great job, great defensive blitz call by Harlan Barnett, defensive coordinator for Michigan State.
Joe Shopper to punt it from the 15. Shelton awaits. High kick will send him back, and he'll let it go over his head. And a little backspin on that one to keep it on the field of play. A 63-yard punt.
Over the years, and we got more depth. Our running backs are good. He's got himself a good football team.
If he allowed you to take one guy off this football team to put him on the hardwood with you, who would it be?
I'm going to take Scott, the freshman running back. He's had a heck of a day.
What can we expect on the hardwood for you guys this year, 2015-2016 season?
You know, our conference is going to be great. You know, in Maryland, Indiana, there's going to be a lot of really high-rated teams, but I think the Spartans will be okay. I like our team. We went to Italy. It's been good for us. First 2 days of practice have gone well. If we stay injury-free, we got a chance.
We got some Michigan weather. I thought the football and basketball team was tough. The swimmers swimming outdoors here in under 50-degree weather. So good stuff. Great seeing you, Coach.
72 in every gym, so I don't worry about it.
You're right. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Oh, that's why I played basketball. Don't have to worry about the weather in there.
And I will never play basketball against you, Beth, because of that.
Cook slides out across the 15. It's a big day for Coach Izzo, by the way, and the Hoopsters. He can't talk about it, but a major recruiting pickup. The number 8 rated recruit in the country, Miles Bridges, today announcing his commitment to join Michigan State, and there will be a lot of recruiting folks that will now say Coach Izzo probably has the top rated class in the country coming in next year. They will be adding a McDonald's All-American this year in Deontay Davis.
Pretty modest guy about his team next year.
Oh, yeah.
They're always there, right? Spartans are always hanging around, one of the top teams in the nation.
One of the guys he wants to play hoops is now a tailback, L.J. Scott. He's got the football. He's got a couple of rushing touchdowns today, and he's got a burst out across the 40-yard line. Leroy Clark saved the touchdown. Little fast break look there from L.J.
Yeah, really nice job. Tight ends blocking down, Lang kicking out, making a big hole. And it's tough to bring the big man down. You better go low, wrap up his legs, and hope the other 10 players come happy to tackle. He's almost at 100 yards today. 9.3 yard average, Beth. That's incredible stuff right there for the young freshman.
Big time recruit. Had the 2 touchdown game against Oregon, and now 2 more tallies today. Coach Izzo has been impressed with this offense. They're trying to get to a 13th straight game scoring over 30 points. The 12 they currently have is the best in FBS. Easy Chukwu in on the tackle, and that will push Scott up to 99 yards rushing today.
So there are 3 tight ends on the power run game, and they run power to the weak side. They run power to the backside. And again, in a weather game like this, they show it to you. You look at this look right now, you see the 3 tight ends are going to flop over, motion them to a balanced set. But again, the strength is the fullback, the 3 tight ends, and that power downhill running.
Lyles, Chamura, and Sokol, they get in a couple of the young guys. Scott wrapped up, could not get to the edge. Coming up to lead the charge, Anthony Brown, along with Brandon Roberts.
You know, power run game, Beth, is about, you got to have good tight ends at the point of attack blocking down, and you have to have versatile guards and centers pull to the outside and kick. And the biggest thing they talked about in this offense with the running backs, being a true freshman Scott and a redshirt freshman London, is they got to be patient. Because when the tailback gets the ball, it doesn't look like there's anything there. But then when those blocks come around and the pullers come and kick out, there comes the hole. So they want them to hit it downhill. So far, doing a nice job of that play.
3rd down and 3. Scott, and he's not going to get there. He'll come up short. Good hit by Evan Panfill. Got into the hole to stuff it up. And now will they go for it here at midfield on 4th and short?
They're going to kick this one. In the power play too, Beth, it's a will play. You get 1 yard, you get 3 yards, and all of a sudden, bam, they hit one and they get a 20-yard gain. So they're trying to take the will from a defense, and that's one of the things you'll see on tape against some of these defenses they play against. They keep banging on chopping wood, and all of a sudden, the linemen get tired, the linebacker doesn't scrape, and there goes the big explosive play.
Hartbarger mishandles it, and now he loses the football at the 35-yard line. Purdue trying to scoop it up. Did they ever have possession of it and then refumble it? I don't believe they did. It will go to the Boilermakers on downs back at the 20.
Obviously, the ball is extremely slippery. We've seen some poor throws, some wobbly passes, and again there, catching the snap is also tough in a day like today. Right to him. Again, wet football. Punter has to make sure he catches it first. Most important thing.
Until they're spot on the field. Purdue's ball. 1st down and 10.
Yeah, that was number 14, Rajon Howard. He did not have possession. As soon as he scooped it, it looked like it squirted right away.
Beth, right now, Purdue in the red zone. It's 21-0. Nothing's going your way. But yet Michigan State has stalled on offense. Here's your chance to put something on the board out of halftime and show that you can make the changes and get yourself some points.
Could be just the break they were looking for. Yancey and Phillips go wide left. Anthrop will now join them. They will run it maybe for a yard. Markel Jones. Riley Bulla was there to make the tackle. 75 yards rushing now on the day for Jones.
And while you're trying to be successful in the red zone, the problem is Michigan State's defense in the red zone, 14th in the nation. So good luck trying to get in as this defense just continues to be in the right spots. And I've been impressed by strong safety play today. Demetrius Cox doing a good job, who's their normal corner, bouncing to that position.
Blau with the keeper, slices his way down to the 11. Looks like it may be a bit short. Pickup of 8.
And again, the last thing on Coach Hazel's mind is a punt or a field goal in this situation. He needs touchdowns, and obviously if they don't get it here, rest assured they're going to go for it on 4th down.
Is this a moment for Calhoun and company?
But keep an eye on number 4, Malik McDowell. He brings a lot of heat and pressure up the middle over the center.
Blau will give to Jones. McDowell was the first guy there, and falling forward is Jones. The ball popped out. They are going to whistle it dead. McDowell got in there quickly, but it looked like the back falling forward was able to get the yardage. Let's see where they spot it. Just outside the 10 is the spot right now. R.J. Williamson is the injured player for Michigan State.
Was his elbow down, and McDowell just punishes the center, comes up in front. And again, the ball looks like it wasn't.
It's been ruled a 1st down, by the way, on the field. They've moved the chains, but that elbow is down right there, and it appears to be just outside of the 11-yard line. The spot right now is inside the 11.
It's not a fumble. Obviously, his body was down on the ground, but McDowell made a nice one-on-one play there against the center, who's a very good player for Purdue himself, Robert Kugler.
All right, they're going to play on. Jones is the tailback. Jones will get the call. He'll run to the short side, cuts it back in, down to the 9. Malik McDowell was there once again. Williamson is now returning to the secondary for Michigan State after missing a play.
You know, Malik McDowell is a guy to me, when you turn the tape on, like, he will literally lift centers up and plant them backwards. Every down, and playing with that effort is something I want to see. He's a true sophomore, folks. He's going to be a scary player for this Michigan State defense.
On 2nd and 8, Blau will keep. Pitches it forward to his tight end. Jurasevich diving into the end zone. On the underhanded toss from his quarterback.
They have him down.
And do they have him down at the 1-yard line?
Nice play design there. Did a lot of this against Marshall in the opening game where they broke containment and then pitched it late. See the tight end? Jurasevich. The question is his knee down? His knee down there, but we can't see where the ball is, unfortunately, on that look.
They do rule him down at the 1. 3rd down. Blau on the rollout, looking to the end zone, and he's got his man. Touchdown to Gregory Phillips. They had been just 57% on the season scoring red zone TDs, and Darrell Hazel talked about we've got to be better at it today, and they strike here with 6.
Yeah, Gregory Phillips had a huge game last week. 4 catches, 92 yards, and a touchdown. And there he secures the catch in the back of the end zone. A little sprint out action, get an underneath receiver, 2 levels. Good play call there. Finally, Purdue gets on the board, takes advantage of the poorly snapped punt that Michigan State had the previous series.
So new life for the Boilermakers. They go 21 yards in just under 2.5 minutes. And the punter, Jake Hartbarger, dropped it. And the short field for the Boilermakers, and they take advantage. And they are hanging around with number 2 Michigan State.
And look at that yawn. Perfect timing for the fans. I'll tell you what, I was getting goosebumps watching those dives into the pool right there. It's pretty chilly yesterday.
The diving was indoors. It was a windy day. You didn't want any problems with folks up on the platforms. They moved that inside. It's been like a pool out here. A little soupy weather with the rain falling here this afternoon. 21-7 Michigan State. To Chris Cotter now on an update. Well, Penn State amidst that homestand, 5 in a row. This is the 4th of them. They will host Indiana next week. Hoosiers undefeated going up against Ohio State. First time in 25 years that Indiana's been 4-0. And now Michigan State, can they get the offense going again? And answer the Purdue touchdown. Madre London caught from behind. Picks up a couple. Well, on Saturday night, coming up shortly, we've got a doozy for you down in Death Valley. Clemson hosting Notre Dame. They are both undefeated. It's Saturday Night Football, presented by Wells Fargo, with the Fighting Irish and the Tigers at 8 Eastern on ABC, and also streaming live on Watch ESPN. Fans here wanted a horse collar on Eddie Wilson. No flag. Under 5 minutes to go here in the 3rd. Spartans trying to get to 5-0. Purdue looking for the huge upset. Cook will keep. And out across the 40. Taken down by Anthony Brown. What are your thoughts on that Notre Dame-Clemson game coming up later tonight?
Well, the weather is obviously going to be a big factor. I mean, you talk about two teams, one with a backup quarterback. You talk about taking care of the football. We've seen it in our game. It's been a tough go. But does that take Watson's ability to throw the ball down the field? I mean, he's been a tremendous kind of a dual threat, but he really impresses me out of the pocket, and they really haven't played anyone yet. So Notre Dame been a little bit battle-tested so far. Be a tough challenge for Clemson.
Should be a fun one to watch tonight. Joaquin may be the player of the week throughout the country. The hurricane having its impact all around the eastern seaboard and even out into the Midwest with some nasty weather. London breaking tackles, and look at him fight for the first down and get out across midfield. 13 yards. A lot of it his own hard work after contact.
76 Donovan Clark gets around, but that block by the tight end, number 11, Lyles, I'll tell you what, he does a lot of dirty work, doesn't get a lot of chances to catch footballs today in this wet day, but he's really been at the point of attack for this Michigan State team.
167 yards rushing. They were up over 200 against Purdue last week. In fact, they've run for over 200, or last year, excuse me. In fact, they've run for over 200 yards in each of their last 12 games. 15 plays of over 10 yards for the offense. Cook looking for Burbridge, incomplete. Frankie Williams had the coverage. Michigan State thought he also should have been flagged.
Connor Cook severely underthrows this ball. And that's always the MO here. Corner jumps, gets his hand on it, and then it's a short throw, and he ends up bumping him right there. You see Williams, their best cover guy.
It looked like he had hands on there after the hitch.
He did bump
and the
into
go.
him. You're right, and that's always the toughest thing for a corner because they don't know where the ball is. It was underthrown. Could have easily been called a penalty.
So Cook, after hitting 8 straight throws to end the first half, now 0 for 3 so far in the second. And on second down with pressure coming, Cook, plenty of room up the middle, and he's going to stay on his feet. Down to the 25, taking on Robert Gregory at the tail end of the run.
Now, I would say at the next level, you want to slide at that point, right? But I'll tell you, it's a great way of using his legs. He's done it twice in this drive, and he's showing you a little speed there. I don't know about the little cut at the end, but he's got some speed. He's a big guy.
22 yards on that run. Good recognition by Cook. Give is to London. Fights his way inside the 20. Stopped by Evan Panfill.
Here he's trying to bait him, trying to juke him.
Says, I'm bigger than you. Let's see if I'm faster than you.
Oh, he's getting
and the
fired
emotion.
Up. How about that? Look at the first down.
On the rollout, he'll take another hit at the 15. Well, he was telling us when he first arrived, and he was watching Kirk Cousins, who was the senior when he was a freshman, didn't really have a whole lot of confidence. It was just Michigan State and MAC schools that had recruited him. But over time and the nurturing of the coaching staff and the older guys on the team, his confidence grew. And, you know, he's been asked an awful lot. He's about to become the winningest quarterback in school history. Did you ever imagine this would have happened? He said, no, back then I would have told you you were crazy. I didn't know I had it in me, but was given an opportunity to prove it, and he seized it. 8th play of this drive that started back on their own 25-yard line. London flagged down. Looks like he's got the first down yardage with the flag on the backside at the line of scrimmage.
Offense, 5 men in the backfield, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Down to Paul.
Beth, you mentioned Connor Cook being under-recruited, Kirk Cousins under-recruited, the two winningest quarterbacks in Michigan State history. Anthony, it tells you about the development of players here. These guys do an amazing job. The staff gets after these kids. They come in one way and they leave another.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'm impressed by D'Antonio, what he's done. I just think, to me, he's built something in the right way. He puts pressure on his players to compete and raise their bar at a level, but he doesn't make them on edge or eggshells, which is huge. Again, another guy, Allen, just a product of the system. Guys coming in, working their butt off, and getting it done for this team.
London on the carry.
Anthony, yesterday I thought it was very telling when he said, I want my players to play with pressure, not stress.
And you're right. And you find guys that'll step up and make plays with you at the biggest moment when the pressure's on and they can make the big pass or make the big block, or it's 4th and 1 and you got to pull around and contain the edge. So those are the things he's looking for. Those are the things that when he recruits, he's trying to find. And a guy right there, L.J. Scott, I think he's found one in the tailback, the true freshman.
Michael Geiger has struggled this year. He's just 3 of 5 in his field goal attempts. This boot is on the way, and it is no good from 35 yards out. The long drive stalls out, and Purdue pumped. So the Spartans cannot respond to the Boilermaker touchdown, and Purdue will have it back.
Missed field goal here, an opportunity for Michigan State to get more points. Coach Hazel likes it. Last drive got a touchdown. Offense gets another chance coming up.
It's about the availability of both running backs, Joik Bell and Marshawn Lynch. Will they be good to go on Monday night? Purdue has it, fresh off of their touchdown, the last possession, as well as a stop and a missed field goal after Michigan State drove deep into their territory. They managed to take advantage of the dropped punt snap. It gave them the short field, and then were able to punch it in. And they do not get the playoff before the quarter expires. 21-7 our score. Michigan State with the lead over Purdue, but the Boilermakers You're watching college football presented by 5 Hour Energy as we start the fourth quarter, 21-7 Michigan State, and a huge opportunity for David Blau. Here's his day so far, Anthony.
John Shoup, offensive coordinator, said when the pocket's there, you got to stay in there. Right there, the pocket's clean. Throwing into coverage is always a no-no for young quarterbacks. 4 Michigan State defenders there. Now here was a pass I thought they had an opportunity. This ball was right through the hands of Yancey, and then he starts placing the ball in beautiful spots. You see on the sidelines here, Yancey pulls it in, and of course on the touchdown pass to Phillips, got themselves on the board, and again, get their chance here with the ball in their hands.
Just 15 yards of total offense in the third quarter for Purdue, but it was enough to get them some points on the board, and the first pass of the fourth quarter incomplete, and a flag is down. It was intended for Jurasevich.
Get Bola.
Pass interference. Defense, number 30. Ball be placed in the spot of the foul. Automatic. First down.
That's a couple of PI penalties on the day against Michigan State.
Well, there's a lot of traffic for tight ends when you're going over the football. Bola obviously coming around the tight end there on that play. They're going to call that every time.
On first down after the penalty, Blau rolling out of the pocket, pressure coming behind, and Blau will get out across the 30, taken down on the sideline there. Let's check in with the studio for an update. Thank you very much, Chris. Well, Michigan trying to get to 4-1 on the season. Markel Jones, terrific speed, trying to outrun the defense, and he will. No flags are down behind him. Touchdown, Purdue. 68 yards on the run by Jones, and the Boilermakers are within a score of number 2, Michigan State.
Give credit to what this Purdue offense has done. Reschke's coming off the edge, but nobody's home inside. And I'll tell you what, Markel Jones with the speed to get up the field, and no one's able to catch him. Another true freshman. 17 carries, 147 yards. Those are probably the quietest 147 yards we've ever had, and he's played a nice game today.
The PAT is good. The last 2 possessions for Purdue, two scores, 21-14. And the crowd that has stayed here at Spartan Stadium on this cold and rainy day, their spirits dampened even further. The Boilermakers are within striking distance. Jones, 147 yards rushing, including a 68-yard touchdown run to get within a TD.
Darian Hicks, number 2, the corner, and the safety, Monte Nicholson, they're both going to be right there to converge and make the tackle. But as you're running through, the speed of Jones and no one attempting to make that tackle here, again, you feel like you're in a good spot with your defense, and all of a sudden, I think that's more of a credit to the speed and underestimating that of Jones there. But to me, with this Michigan State defense, I would expect those two players to be in a position to make that tackle.
That is his second touchdown run of the season of over 60 yards. And Purdue with the momentum. The Michigan State offense has sputtered. 21 yards on that return for Shelton. Let's get some more updates from around the country. Chris? All right, a thriller out in the Big 12. Look at the difference for the Michigan State offense. They scored on 3 of their first 4 drives. Their last 5 possessions, 3 punts, a botched punt, and a missed field goal. And that has allowed the Boilermakers to hang around. L.J. Scott, who has a couple of touchdown runs in the first half, and over 100 on the day, gets 9 more.
They've been bringing a lot of the chunk runs against this defense, but they haven't given up the big explosive plays, so they're making Michigan State earn it all the way down the field. Injured player field now. Gregory. Looks like he's okay, getting walked off.
So they're starting safety. What do we need to see here? We talked about the experience of Connor Cook at quarterback. They have some weapons. Where does Michigan State turn here trying to get things going again?
Well, they fell short of a drive prior to this series because they weren't able to convert on first down. I think Connor Cook at some point has to take over the game in the passing game. You're set up with the running game already. So the play action passes, the ability to pull the safety down and get a receiver down the field, you should be able to get those open. He's got to throw, make the plays here when those opportunities come.
On 2nd and 1, can the 5th-year senior lead them to a victory that would make him the winningest quarterback in Spartan history and would keep this Michigan State team perfect on the season? They come in at 4-0, number 2 in the nation. That's the best they've been in half a century, going back to their '66 national championship team. Cook and company have championship aspirations this year as well, and now a big 4th quarter test for him.
There's a reason why he came back. I mean, he loves the game. We talked to him yesterday. He loves the college experience. He loves the camaraderie with his teammates, and he does have some unfinished business. And I think you got to tribute a senior that comes back and wants to lead his team. He's got a lot of 5th-year seniors on this football team, and right now they got to seal the deal because this Purdue team is hanging in there.
On the counter, and a hole down the sideline. Scott run out of bounds after the big gainer. He gets into Purdue territory. A nice block by Brian Allen to spring him 30 yards.
Brian Allen and his right guard, Brandon Clemens, watch them both pull. Again, both get up on their blocks and open up that seam. Nice chop block by Brian Allen, who's filling in at center because of the injury at the tackle position. Brother Jack, the captain, the true center, is playing left tackle. So you like to see those linemen come in that normally don't play those positions and make plays like that.
The Allen brothers doing a terrific job after the injury to Dennis Finley. Scott now up to 142 yards rushing on the day. They'll keep it on the ground with London. Hurdles one defender, and he's down inside the 25-yard line. That'll move the sticks again. Rubbed out by Leroy Clark.
I'll tell you what, Beth. Forget about the passing game. When you're running 8, 9, 10 yards a clip, all Connor Cook has to do is turn around and hand it off. I mean, it really doesn't matter what linemen are in the game right now. They've been able to control the line of scrimmage. They just got to seal the deal. They can't go for a field goal, obviously. They got to get touchdowns on this drive here to pick the tempo back up on their offense.
London is now 9 yards shy of joining Scott with over 100 yards on the day. London stays in there. They've been using their tight ends in the backfield. Trevin Pendleton got dinged up, their fullback, earlier in the game. London with the cutback stays on his feet to get down around the 16-yard line. Jake Replogle would not let go.
Got to admire the depth of Michigan State. Number 64, their right guard, Brandon Clemens. He's third on the depth chart, and he's in the game 7 points up against Purdue in the crucial minutes of the football game. It just goes to show the depth, the recruiting, the ability to build kids, have them ready. He's a senior, hadn't got a lot of work, but he's been ready to go, and that's what he's got. Puts the pressure on him to be ready to play in these moments.
Cook's go-to guy, Josiah Price, also not in there today. They'll keep it on the ground with London. Replogle again with the stop. Junior from Centerville, Ohio, makes another play. Third down coming up now for the Spartans, who have done a nice job churning it out on the ground this drive.
I'll be honest with you, Beth. 3 tight ends, moving around, different positions. You're running the football effectively. I'd like to see someone else except Josiah Price, who's not in this game, to catch a ball, maybe get a dink and dunk. Lyle's been doing a nice job blocking today. Maybe you throw a dog a bone here on this opportunity.
They need to get to the 9 for the first down. Burbridge goes wide left. Cook off a play action into the end zone for Lyles, and he couldn't hang on. Andy James Garcia able to strip it out of there.
Lyles gets his chance, the tight end. Such a good game today blocking, and when it's wet and it gets damp out there, you want to throw it in these positions to the tight end here. He just drops it, actually catches the ball. Great play by Garcia. Seeing the ball and knocking it, swiping out of Lyles' hands. Well done by the Purdue defense.
A 30-yard attempt now from Geiger. He has missed from 35 today. This one on its way, and it's good. That bumps the lead up to 10 for Michigan State as they counter. After Purdue had scored a couple of TDs, they get 3 up on the board. The Boilermakers still with 9:54 to go. Could have been worse, but Garcia with a terrific play to strip it away from Lyles.
Andy Garcia does a nice job knocking it down here at the last second. Huge play, holding them to a field goal, keeping Purdue's hopes in the balance.
The field goal, and it's 24-14. Still 9:54 to play as the Boilermakers try to pull off the stunner. Michigan State, number 2 in the land. They will head on the road for their next 2 at Rutgers, and then a big showdown on October 17th with Michigan down in Ann Arbor. A Michigan State team that right now is in the playoff picture, according to the ESPN projections. Purdue will have it inside its own 20. Well, after tonight's Pac-12 showdown, keep it locked into Sports Center at night for a complete wrap-up of all the college football action. We'll also keep you updated on the race for the wild cards. Still not sure who the Yankees will be squaring off against in that AL wild card game next Tuesday night. We'll have that for you, of course, on the ESPN networks. It's Sports Center at night right after the Oregon-Colorado matchup tonight on ESPN, also streaming live on Watch ESPN.
Ball security will be key on this drive. Get back in your game plan now. You get back to those plays you originally wanted to go against this defense with, but you got to hold on to the ball.
On a cold day, it's been raining pretty much the last couple of quarters. They have turned it over 3 times today. Down to Paul for an injury update.
Well, you saw the Markel Jones long touchdown run. Starting safety R.J. Williamson was not in for that play. He's still not back on the field. Has a left forearm elbow type injury. I'll keep you guys posted when he returns.
So it looks like Cox and Nicholson are now in at the safety spots. Hicks and Colhoun at the corners. Blau pitches it forward to Danny Anthrop. Out across the 40-yard line and wrestled out of bounds there by Nicholson. 19 yards on that game. They're getting creative now with some of the play calling to get their skill guys the football in their hands with some space to move.
And Monte Nicholson is going to be covering that slot receiver, Anthrop. Let's see if they take advantage of that. Number 9, Nicholson, has been one of those guys that they've had ups and downs with in this football game.
Jones wrapped up in the backfield by John Rushke. Heath was also in there to make the stop. Boy, for as poor as the start was for Purdue, they fell down quickly, 21-0. You've sensed a little bit of confidence coming back. Blau feeling a little bit more comfortable. Certainly Markel Jones, not any problems in his Big Ten debut. Heritage much better here in the fourth. In fact, their best quarter so far, not even halfway through it. Blau with time, looking deep down the sideline. Yancey around the 20, and he hauls it in. Went right over the top of Darian Hicks and D'Angelo Yancey. Second time we've seen Blau throw that ball.
I'll tell you, Yancey's going to be that next level receiver in the Big Ten. Big, strong, can high point the football. 35-yard catch. He's been a playmaker for this team, the deep threat for this offense. Beating Hicks, number 2, the cornerback.
Some questions about the pass defense for Michigan State coming in, and Blau trying to take advantage. Back to the run. Lawrence Thomas wraps up Jones. Markel over 150 yards now on the day. The true freshman out of Indiana, the Prep Indiana Player of the Year, and the All-American. Had a 60-yard touchdown run against Virginia Tech, a 68-yarder today. He has been their primary weapon, not DJ Knox so far this afternoon. Blau on the play action, terrific sell, and the pass to Anthrop inside the 5. There was a moment there where the Spartans were looking around for the football, didn't know where it was.
I'll tell you, this young man has played better in the second half for sure. The penalty flag down now, but watch this fake, just pausing
defense,
it.
Number 36, penalties decline. Result of the play, first down.
Anthrop becomes wide open on the outside, gets himself a big play.
Penalty was on Michigan State, that'll be declined, so it's 1st and goal now for Purdue.
Right now, it's been pretty easy for this offense to move the ball down the field. In the red zone now, this defense needs to step up and be firm because Purdue is doing whatever they want right now on offense.
Looking to score on their 3rd straight possession, Anthony. Blau to Jones, looking for some room, and he's got it into the end zone. Touchdown, Purdue. And this is not something that Spartan fans are accustomed to watching happen to their defense.
Really nice job blocking on the left side. Left guard, King, driving his man down into the ground and really opening up that hole. And right now, Jones is a confident running back. But this defense for Michigan State, only giving up 88 yards last year on the ground per game. They're having a big day up front.
Boy, and kudos to the O-line. All 5 starters returning this year. The extra point is good. Heddle, King, Kugler, Roos, and Sermon helping Jones to a big day and a chance here against Michigan State. And for the college football playoff, those games also available. You can watch them both, one on your telly and one on your Watch app if you'd like. Urban Meyer is undefeated as head coach against Big Ten opponents in the regular season, 24-0. A couple of good running backs, Jordan Howard and Zeke Elliott going head-to-head in that matchup. Shelton gets it out to the 29-yard line. in a much tighter matchup than a lot of folks anticipated with 6.5 to go. Last two drives for the Purdue Boilermakers, 159 yards in just 10 plays for 2 scores to make things very interesting. They are outgaining Sparty here in the second half. And Cook, who hit on 8 straight passes earlier in the day, has missed on his last 4 attempts. They ran it for much of that last drive that resulted in a field goal. And the flip to Shelton. Let's get you updated on Michigan and Maryland. Chris? Wow. Oh, it's been a struggle for the Terrapins so far. And we've got an injured player here for Purdue. It's Leroy Clark. We will take a timeout. In the Cotton Bowl, but a lot has to happen between now and then, and certainly you would have to think that a win against Purdue would be first and foremost on the to-do list. When we asked Mark D'Antonio, what'd you learn about your guys through a challenging non-conference schedule the first 4 games? He said, we finish games. We do what it takes to end it. Well, now they have the ball with a 3-point lead and 6:08 to go. The momentum right now is with the other guys. Boilermakers have scored touchdowns on 3 straight drives. L.J. Scott gets the call. Tackled by Jalen Robinson. And they lost a helmet up front. That is Benny McGowan, the right guard, who will come out for a play. Clemens will fill that spot.
Let's give credit to Greg Hudson, the defensive coordinator for Purdue. Bend, don't break. They've been giving up some big rushes against this team, but they've been holding pat, making them earn everything on 3rd downs, number 1. And in the red zone, they've been tight. A missed field goal, holding to do a field goal, making Michigan State earn everything in the second half.
All the scoring came early for Michigan State. They need a 3rd down conversion here, 3rd and 3. Connor Cook gonna run for it, flips it forward to Lyles, the tight end, for the first down out to the 45.
Good heads-up play there by Connors. Got close to that line of scrimmage. But again, running with your eyes up, still seeing the field as you're about to run it. He sees a defender come up, definitely before the line of scrimmage, flicks it up to Miles, the tight end, secures the football, which is good to see. Gets a big first down for this offense.
And he did not get to the line of scrimmage, so heads up play, a gutsy play from Cook. Under 5 to go. They'll work as much of that clock as they can. Scott takes the pitch. Gets out to the 45 for a yard. Remember, last year's game came down to late in the 4th quarter, and Purdue was making a comeback, and it was a pick 6 for the Spartan defense that sealed it late in the game. Purdue, even though they've lost 6 in a row to Michigan State, they've been close ball games. They've been right in them.
They have, and you see how they're running the power here, and they're kind of, I don't want to say lulling the sleep the defense, but maybe try a play action pass at some point and get number 16, Aaron Burbridge, at the bottom of the screen there, their top receiver, a big play.
London now in at tailback. On the rollout, Cook with the play action. He's directing traffic. Now he's got to go with it. Stays in bounds. Nice job there to keep the clock moving out to the 49-yard line. Picks up 4. So it will be 3rd down and about 5.
Purdue defense again, making them earn it. Another 3rd down that they have to convert. Last time Connor Cook flicked it to his tight end late, but they were there to make the tackle if Connor Cook decided to run it. Got to stand pat here. All the options. Get some rush. I think this defensive line's been quiet right now, getting to the quarterback. Doing a good job of getting outside the pocket and avoiding it.
Trips to the left. London will join them. They'll try and get him into space, and he is wrapped up and down he goes. Juwan Bentley with the tackle and a quick timeout for Purdue. It's 4th down with 3:06 to go.
You got one of the best quarterbacks in the country, and we're throwing swing passes on 3rd and 7. To me, I would go a little more down the field when you're talking about the receivers and what they've done. You can make some plays down the field at the quarterback position. You see here, go down the field, get some of these receivers in the action. They want to send Madre London for a swing pass opportunity. Very safe play, Beth, if you ask me. Conservative.
And Bentley had him mirrored the whole way.
Yeah. And the defensive backs holding pat. You know, they didn't bite on anything. They're in the proper position to make the play. And here we go. Purdue's going to get the ball back. And I'll tell you what, Beth, the last 2 times they've had the ball, it's been pretty easy moving for their offense.
They have had a problem with a snap on a previous occasion. This time, Hartbarger gets it away. It will land inside the 5 and bound into the end zone for the touchback, 52 yards on the punt. Purdue had a chance to beat Michigan State a year ago with Austin Appleby quarterbacking, and it was Darian Harris with the interception. It was a 1-touchdown game, and this one put it out of reach for the Spartans as they won for the 6th straight time in the series. And now this is huge for a team that's talking about winning the Big Ten and getting into the playoff and vying for a national championship. For Michigan State, they're going to need to stop a hot David Blau right now in a Purdue offense that has scored the last 3 times they've had the football.
And Shalik Calhoun, to me, number 89, your defensive end, your stud on defense. It's been a quiet day. Look for him to rise up. But right now, this Purdue offense has been in a groove. Let's see if the redshirt freshman quarterback can make it happen late in the 4th quarter.
Markel Jones with 157 yards rushing. He won't add any there. Malik McDowell with the tackle. Purdue has 2 timeouts to work with as well.
Talked about McDowell earlier. This is the time of the game when you want your defensive players to be at their best. Dominating the line of scrimmage right now for Michigan State.
Pressure coming. The throw out into the flat, incomplete, looking for Jones. Bulla was coming right up the middle. I think Joel Heath got a hit on the quarterback. It's 3rd down and 9.
Harlan Barnett dialed it up here with some pressure, bringing it in, an unblocked defender. Big hit on the quarterback, pressure situation. First time this young man's in this situation against the number 2 team in the country.
Blitz coming again from the backers. Blau runs away from it. He'll tuck it and go, and he's got the 1st down out across the 30, sliding out near the 35. 13 yards on the run for the redshirt freshman.
Cross dog blitz in the middle, but you got to have a contained player. Where are you? Number 3 gets caught, 23 Frey inside. And Blau makes a nice play getting outside the pocket, getting the 1st down. Pressure situation comes up big for Purdue.
4-man rush this time, and Blau's pass batted down at the line of scrimmage by Lawrence Thomas. 2nd and 10.
And you made that Drew Brees reference. They're both 6'1", shorter players. You got Lawrence on the outside, 6'4", 305, gets his arms up. If you're not getting it with the pass rush, put your hands up. Do that JJ swat at the line of scrimmage to get the big knockdown.
Winthrop and Yancey wide to the near side. Blau looking that way, throwing deep, has a man out there, and they'll run out of real estate. And Shalik Calhoun got after the quarterback.
Anthrop's really wide open, running an inside corner route from the slot position. Just airs it out too much air on this football, sails out of bounds. He just takes a little bit off of it. Could have been a big play. Missed opportunity by Purdue.
3rd down and 10, under 2 minutes to go. They are 3 of 4 on 3rd downs here in the second half. Looking to pull off a stunner on the road in East Lansing.
Look for pressure again inside, and that contained defender has to be in place to make a play.
Blau, heat coming, throws across the middle, short. They'll get some of the yardage back. It's 4th down. Cole Herdman with the catch. And I think Purdue's going to burn a timeout here. They will have 1 left.
30 seconds.
The spot is going to set up about a 4th and 6, it looks like. And what a big turnaround. It was 21-0 early in this ball game for Michigan State. It looked like they were going to run away with it. Purdue able to hang around. And now in the second half here, Anthony, they've scored 3 straight possessions. They're trying to keep this drive alive on 4th down. What are you looking for?
Well, Coach Hazel takes the time up, becomes the biggest play of the football game for their offense. They get some yardage on the blitz. I expect pressure from Michigan State. Number 1, Danny Anthrop, an inside slot receiver, a lot of quickness, a guy that can really catch the ball placed anywhere on his body. He could be a guy right now the quarterback will count on to potentially make a play on this defense and move the chains.
They're 1 for 2 on 4th downs here today. Blau on the move, lobs it down the middle, and it's broken up. And a late flag coming in from downfield. Cole Hoon jarred it away from Gregory Phillips. And will this be the 3rd interference penalty of the day on Michigan State? Or is it going to be a holding flag here on the defense?
And that play, that penalty was called by the referee on the far end of the field, so he couldn't see in front of the DB.
Holding. Defense, number 36. 10 yards previous spot. Automatic 1st down.
Boy, and this hits a little close to home for Spartan fans who recall the
Let's see it here, and you see
pass interference penalties in that Notre Dame loss a couple years ago. Yeah, Cole Hoon had a piece of his jersey, Anthony.
Pull his jersey, and also his right hand pulls down on his shoulder to keep him from extending his body up to the ball. Big play, turn of events there. Purdue gets the opportunity. Got to be smart, technically sound at that position.
Blau to the air again, completes the pass, stays in bounds. Mahungu with the catch. 6 yards on the pickup, 2nd and 4. You still got a minute and a half to go. You still have a timeout left if you're Purdue. And they will be penalized here to drop them back 5.
False start. False start. Offense, number 88. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
It's the tight end Herdman.
Well, with Young out, one of their wide receivers, Herdman's got to come out in the slot and play receiver in this no-huddle offense. It's inexcusable to move and be off sides if you're a receiver in the slot. You're looking right at the football. Poor play pushes them back.
Just their 2nd penalty of the day. 2nd and 9. Blau slips away from the rush, and then throws it away. And it will bring up 3rd and 9 for a Purdue club. You're in your 3rd year under Darrell Hazel. You had 1 win last year in the league. You didn't have any 2 years ago. Now you're knocking on the door on the road against the number 2 team in the country, and a chance to open up your Big Ten slate at 1-0.
Again, I expect pressure here. Again, if they make this completion for a 1st down, you got to be ready for the situation to clock it, get up to the line of scrimmage. Right now, Michigan State defense going to try to disrupt the quarterback.
Incomplete, intended for Phillips. And so here comes another 4th down.
Bulla with pressure on the outside just really speeds that process up for a quarterback because of the pressure. Makes the poor throw on the outside, the incompletion. 4th down and 9 for this Michigan State defense. A chance to redeem himself after the penalty on the last 4th down.
Linebackers all edging up to the line of scrimmage for Michigan State. Here they come. They are after Blau. They get to him on the throw. Passes away. Incomplete. And it's broken up by R.G. Colhoun, and no flag downfield. Michigan State will take over on downs as Chris Fry got to the quarterback on his release.
Well done by the Michigan State defense. Cross dog blitz in the middle to put the pressure on the quarterback to rush it. Then he floats one up. And how about Colhoun? You learn from your mistakes. Before he touched him this time, all football, doesn't touch the receiver. Well done by their senior. He's their top corner, one of their better players on defense. That's the way you bounce back, Beth, and make a huge play for your Michigan State defense.
He was the guy that was called for the hold on the previous fourth down play. Purdue with just the one timeout to stop the clock. But Michigan State should be able to take a couple of knees here and run down the clock to make Connor Cook the all-time winningest quarterback in school history and to extend their record to 5-0 as they open up Big Ten play with quite a challenge from Purdue here in the second half.
You know, give credit to Purdue. You know, first the redshirt freshman for stepping in the second half and being a better player. Obviously, these guys have fought their tails off today. Daryl Hazel made the adjustments at halftime. Again, he talked about it all week. He said they feel good. Their hopes are high. Only winning one game, but feeling they're close. Well, you can definitely take something away from this loss. Again, there's no moral victories in football, but you got to like the effort and the play of his players today, traveling on the road to Michigan State.
There will be some questions as well for the Spartans moving forward. Appeared to be a serious injury to left tackle Dennis Finley, who was replacing the already injured Jack Conklin. So some adjustments on that offensive line today and perhaps moving forward into Rutgers and then Michigan.
In that final drive, a conservative attack to really seal the deal and put your stamp on it as an offense. To me, we got to see more of maybe Connor Cook taking over this offense with that great running game working. We weren't able to see that balance today, but it was enough to get the win for Michigan State.
A scare for the second-ranked Spartans, but they will stay undefeated. 5-0 on the season as Purdue falls to 1-4. A good effort for the Boilermakers in the second half, but it will come up short as the Spartans pick up the win. 24-21, the final. Here's the breakup on fourth down, and the Spartans stay undefeated. College football continuing on ESPN2 with Chris Cotter in the studio.